What's up, booktube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm doing a review of From Bad to Cursed by Lana Harper. First of all, thank you so much to NetGalley and the publisher for giving me an advance copy of this book in exchange for an honest review. I was so excited to get a copy of this book. I also did an ARC review for Payback which is the first book in this series, and I will link that up above as well as down below for you guys to go and check out if you'd like. But onto this book. From Bad to Cursed is the sequel to Payback and is part of a series of companion novels that take place in the wonderful town of Thistle Grove. Thistle Grove is a very special place full of really cute, charming shops, friendly people, and the feeling of magic in the air. But what the normies of the town don't know is that there is literal magic in the air. The four founding families of this town are witches, and they have been protecting this town for generations. However, despite having been together for hundreds of years now, these four families do not always get along, which is especially the case for the Thorn family and the Avramov family. The Thorns practice green magic, so they're all about light and healing and good vibes only and that kind of thing, whereas the Avramovs are necromancers. They practice death magic. So just at their core, these two families really butt heads because they are polar opposites to each other. So they are notorious for just not getting along, and this is especially true for our two main characters, Rowan Thorn and Isadora Avramov, except they have just a little bit of an extra reason to hate each other because of their kind of rocky past. Some things happened in their past that led them to just really not be able to stand each other, and this rivalry has gone on for several years now, but they have to at least try to put their differences aside when a member of the Thorn family is viciously attacked by an unknown person using death magic, and the leaders of the witches ask Rowan and Isadora to work together to try and find the culprit. So the two of them have to work together and just try not to kill each other while trying to figure out who cast the hex that hurt Rowan's family. What follows is a hilarious rom-com filled with seriously laugh out loud insults and constant roasting, as well as drunken adventures, a magical mystery, and a softening between the two main characters that is so slow and reluctant that it will leave you melting while at the same time making you laugh hysterically. After reading Payback last year, I was so excited for Lana Harper to revisit this world, and she definitely did not disappoint. I had such a good time reading this book. It was unexpectedly hilarious and had me dying of laughter the entire time. Seriously, the roasting of this book is god tier levels of good. It was so funny. These two hate each other so much, and the insults that they come up with were just hilarious. The main characters are easily the best part of this book. I bought the chemistry between the two main characters immediately. From page one, they had this palpable chemistry between them, both physical as well as emotional, and I knew right from the start that this was going to be an incredible romance between them, and it was going to take a lot of build up, but the payoff was going to be so worth it. The build up was just so much fun because seriously, these two hate each other for the stupidest reason too. This one is a enemies to reluctant friends to lovers trope, which is a very specific genre in romance that I hardly ever see, but it's one of my favorites. I think it's just so much fun, and especially done in the way that this author did it in this book. It was so perfect. They just had some kind of miscommunication a couple of years ago, and both of them are just dramatic and extra and went way too far with it, and now they're basically just rivals out of spite. And so anytime they're together, it just turns into a roast, a huge insult competition. But the fun part is that you can tell that there's really no malice in it. These characters are hurling insults at each other, but you can see the other one trying so hard not to laugh and trying so hard not to admit that they think the other one is hilarious. And over the course of this book and the more time that they spend together, it's this really slow softening between the two of them where they slowly start to smile a bit more and allow themselves to be okay, yeah, that was a good one, that was funny. And it was just so much fun to watch them kind of learn to appreciate each other's humor and just learn that they really enjoy each other's company. In terms of the setting and atmosphere, I was really worried at first when I found out that this book was being set in the spring, because the first book took place in the fall, and that was just so perfect for the vibe of Thistle Grove. So I wasn't really sure how it was going to do in a springtime setting, but it worked perfectly. It had a more cottagecore forest witch kind of vibe to it, which I just adore. I'm obsessed with cottagecore anything, so this was perfect for me. We also got to learn a lot more about the witches and kind of their festivals and their rituals because they're going through the spring equinox, Beltane, and so we get to see a lot of, you know, kind of what they do throughout the year and the things that they celebrate and how they go about all their rituals. So it was fantastic. It really added a lot more to the story than just the romance. There's a whole magic system in place here. They have all their lore, their history, and that was explored a lot more in this book, and I really appreciated that, especially when it comes to the magic of the Thorn family and the Avramovs, obviously because these two characters have to work together, and like historically these two families have never worked together, so they don't really know about each other's magic that well. And so as these two characters start to get closer together, they start to explore a little bit and kind of teach each other what their magic is like and show each other, and it was just this really beautiful exploration of their magic and learning the similarities and differences between them, and it was so wonderfully done. There were some really cute moments there where they were just learning and being curious and exploring, and it was just so sweet and adorable and also fascinating to read as well, and getting more into the magical lore of this world. When it came to the plot and the whole magical mystery involved here, this was probably the weakest part, but it was still pretty good. I did find it to be kind of predictable for the most part. I didn't fully guess where the plot was going, but I also wasn't surprised when things happened. But honestly, I didn't really mind that the plot was predictable because I wasn't really here for the plot. I was here for the romance. The mystery involved and them having to go and interview people and follow the clues and all these things was a nice addition to it, but definitely wasn't the reason that I was reading this book. So I didn't mind too much that the plot wasn't that strong, and even still, it was still very much enjoyable and a good time, but the romance and the characters were definitely a much stronger element to this book. Overall, From Bad to Cursed was a fantastic addition to the Witches of Thistle Grove series, and I really can't wait to see where else she goes from here. There was a little sneak peek preview of the third book in this series. I think it was the first 3 or 4 chapters in it, and of course I read that as well. Book 2 isn't even out yet, and I'm already excited for book 3, just based on the little preview that we got at the end of this book. This author is doing some really great things with this series. It's so much fun, such a good time, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. For this series, you don't really have to read the first book to be able to read the second one, but it would probably help you to kind of know the relationships between people before you go into this one. So while you don't need to read book 1, I would say that you would benefit from reading it first. But for this book, I gave it 4 stars, and I could definitely see this one becoming a favorite of mine in the romance genre. It was genuinely so much fun. I have never laughed so much during a romance book, and yeah, this was fantastic, so definitely check it out when it comes out. It's coming out on May 17th, and I promise you, you will have a fantastic time with it. But that'll do it for today's video, so thank you again to NetGalley for the art of this book, and thank you all for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!